if you're broke but still buying these kind of stuff, I'm not judging you, but yeah, this is why you're broke. And don't worry, I do some of these things too. What's up, guys? It's Rick. Like always, I'm driving around doing these kind of videos, Everybody says that they want to, save money. They want to build wealth. They want to be, financially free, but let's be honest with ourselves. We get paid, our paycheck hits our bank account, and suddenly we go out or we see something and we say, you know what? I deserve to buy this. I worked hard this month, this couple weeks, to deserve it. Yeah, I get it. You deserve it. But that's exactly why your bank account is in the red. Why your bank account keeps going down every month. Think about it. The main one, and I'm not saying like it's the number one, but it's the main one. I think most people do this. And that's going to be, your morning coffee, your $7 coffee at Starbucks, Listen, I'm not saying don't enjoy life, because I drink coffee myself, but the difference is I make my coffee instead of buying it at Starbucks. Some of you guys, looks like you guys have a full-time relationship at Starbucks, And I know I get it. $7 a day doesn't sound crazy, until you realize, you do the math and you realize how much you're spending every month, $200-300 a month just to stay awake, just to drink some coffee and stay awake, At that point, just go to sleep earlier. After the coffee is cars, we buy cars that are like way too expensive for what we make. They're out of our league. Let's just put an example. We make $3,000 a month, and our car payment's $700. We drive a nice car. Everybody sees you're successful, but they don't see behind the curtains. $800 for this car plus insurance, which is gonna be, I don't know, like $200 maybe. If you're maybe first time, if you're new to driving, maybe it might be more. But you're basically paying 1/3 of your income for this car. That sounds crazy. You're basically an Uber driver, but for yourself. And I think the third thing is going to be eating out all the time, And I fall there because I do this a lot. I eat out a lot, Eating out every day, it's not good for your bank account. $15 here, $20 there. If you have a family, it might be even more, $36, $40. That random late night dinner you want to go take. And I'm not talking about the once a week, the weekend dinners, with your family. I think those are okay. I get it. You need to spend time with your family, but every day, that's where it becomes an issue. You think you deserve eating out. You go to DoorDash and you order what you want, Uber Eats, but you say to yourself, I deserve it, but your bank account is like, no, we don't deserve any of this. Stop wasting our money. Next would be buying things just to look rich, just to look the part. This one especially is dangerous because it can get out of control. People, they will be broke, but they will dress like they got something going on for themselves, like they're gonna meet the president, they're looking fresh, nice shoes, nice pants, some nice shirt, designer shoes, they have some chains on, I don't know, something like, just go to Walmart, just go to Target, buy yourself some nice jeans, you don't have to look rich, you don't have to look, like you borrowed money to do this, just look normal, like a normal dude. There's no reason for you to put yourself out there, And this becomes especially dangerous, like I mentioned earlier, because we usually, when we go to the mall, we swipe our cards, and that's where a credit card gets involved in this. And, I got this balance, and, I got a credit limit. I can buy whatever I want, and I buy this and that. Another thing that I think people don't really look at, it's going to be their subscriptions, what they pay on a monthly basis, whether it be Netflix, Spotify, their gym membership that they never use, and I know I'm talking to you. Something, because let's be honest, how many subscriptions do you have right now that you use or that you don't use? Have you actually like counted them all and see how much they're costing you every month? Your bank account is consistently funding a lifestyle you're not even living. How often do you sit at home, watch Netflix? How often do you do that? How often do you listen to music? How often have you used that gym membership subscription that you have from Planet Fitness that you've never used? Yeah, how often? What else can we talk about here? Oh, you know what? What about Amazon? What about online shopping? I know a lot of us do that. Come on, this one's personal. That late night scrolling that you do on Amazon. To buy things that you don't need. Next thing you know, you're on Amazon, you're buying something you don't even know existed 10 minutes ago. You didn't need that, but you're looking at it and you're like, I like this, I'm gonna buy this. And somehow it's always on sale. It's always on sale. It's always like every time, like it even happens to me. Like you're over there and you're like, oh man, I'm looking at this and that, and then you see something you like, and then you keep scrolling, and then you're like, oh wait, this one's on sale, and you're like, maybe I should buy this if it's on sale. I'm saving money. Wrong. You're not saving money, man, because you don't need this, man. See, a trick that I recommend you guys doing is adding it to your cart and waiting 7 days. 7 days, yes, 7 days. And then after those 7 days, go back to your cart and see if you still want it, if you still need it. And if that's the case, then buy it. If you don't, then congrats, bro. You just saved some money, because most of the time these purchases that we make online are very spontaneous. We don't really think about these. And they're costing us money every month, man. I get it. It's not that people don't make enough money. It's that nobody's really paying attention to where every dollar is going, to where their money is going, And you don't need to be perfect in any of this, If you're doing 1 to 2 or 3 things that I just talked about, let's work on those things, Let's try to fix these things, If you really like fix them, then your financial future can change for yourself. The problem is that we don't realize it, or maybe we do realize what we're doing, but we don't do anything to actually fix a problem, you know. And if you don't realize it, then maybe you need to, because that's the first part of working towards your financial future, to actually solving your problem, your financial problems. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't enjoy your money. Just don't let your money control you, not knowing where you're spending it. You know, if you saw yourself in this video, if you're doing any of these things wrong, you know, don't worry. You know, I was doing some of these things wrong too myself. Just don't lie to yourself about any of this. You know, actually look at your bank account and see where your money's going. You know, fix the problem, fix the issue. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you like the video, and consider subscribing. I make videos like this all the time. But until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.